Hey, I'm your host, Jen Wheeler, and this is the Healthy Her podcast. I'm a teacher, author, and foodie who went from being addicted to sugar, skipping meals, and struggling to get in control of my eating to someone who is 10 kilos down, eats all the yummy foods without restriction, and is finally in control of my hunger. I'm obsessed with helping other health conscious women ditch the confusion and overwhelm so they can cultivate healthy eating habits and truly thrive. The Healthy Her podcast was created to give you real talk about healthy eating, as well as easy, actionable tips that fit seamlessly into your busy lifestyle. I'm not just your host. Think of me as your healthy eating hype gal, your personal cheerleader as we chat all things healthy eating, weight loss, and mindset mastery so you can become the healthiest, happiest version of you. So if you're ready to ditch the guilt, reclaim your confidence, and unlock the very best version of you, then you're in the right place. So let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Healthy Her podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking all about how to eat healthy consistently as a busy woman, because I know for you and for myself included, this was something that I constantly struggled with. And to be completely honest, for the longest time, I was confused. I could not work out why I could not eat healthy consistently. I would do it well for a little while, and then I would give up or something would happen or life would throw something at me, and then I just started back at square one. And I was just so confused for the longest time about why I couldn't make it work. So in today's episode, I'm going to be talking to you about two things. Number one, why as women we find it difficult to eat healthy consistently, because I feel it's really, really important that as a woman that you understand why this actually happens. And then the second part is we're going to talk about what you can actually do about it and how you can actually eat healthy more consistently with ease. So, let's talk about why, as women, we find it so difficult to eat healthy consistently. Now, I just want to start by saying it's not that you can't do it, it's not that you're a failure, it's not that you can't work this out. There are a few key reasons as to why you find it so difficult to eat healthy consistently. The first thing is that our society has changed. And our role as women in society has significantly changed over the decades. Many years ago, the man went out to work and majority of women stayed home and raised their children. Now, for most families and most couples, both of those people in that relationship are now working. So the male and the female in the household are both working. So unfortunately, what that does is that puts a lot more pressure on dinner time, meal times, food shopping, all of those tasks that in the past women may have had more time to do. Now, the reason that we struggle to eat healthy consistently is not only because society has changed, we are working, we are time poor, we are juggling a million things. And as women, we face something that is called decision fatigue. Now, what I mean by decision fatigue is that in any given day, a woman makes a million small decisions, especially a woman that is working and especially a woman that is also a mother. We make a bazillion decisions from what to eat, what to dress, what to wear, what do our kids need, appointments, like the list is just never ending and constantly, like it just goes on and on. And that decision fatigue is really, really strong on a daily basis. So, as a woman, when you wake up, you make your million decisions every day. And by the time that 5 o'clock comes around, you've worked all day, you've picked up the kids, you might have to take them to sport, you've got to do homework, and you've also got to put together a healthy, nourishing meal for your family. And that is where the issue with decision fatigue comes in. You're exhausted. You have made so many decisions throughout the day that to put together a meal at the end of the day is just not something that you want to do, not something that you have the brain power for or the energy to do. So that is why women struggle, especially at the end of the day, to put together a healthy meal because they experience such decision fatigue at the end of the day. So, what can we do as women to overcome that decision fatigue? Like I said, it's really important that you realize that's why it's actually happening, but there are a lot of Super simple and easy things that you can do to reduce your decision fatigue at the end of any given day. Okay, so the first thing that you can do is have a look at your calendar. One day, maybe on a Saturday or a Sunday, have a look, sit down, look at your calendar, look at your diary, and see what you have on. Okay, this is all about working smarter, not harder. So if you're looking at your calendar and you know that Tuesdays and Thursdays are just so hectic and full on because you have late work meetings and then you've got sport and then you have to take someone to a guitar lesson and you've got all of these things to do, make sure that you plan for those days. So it's really good that you can look at your calendar and that you know what is coming up in your week because that way you can then prepare for it and actually prepare for what is coming. Okay, because this is all about working smarter and setting ourselves up for success instead of leaving it to the end of the day and then not being able to make a healthy meal, ordering pizza, beating ourselves up, and then feeling guilty for it. This is all about working smarter. Okay, tip number two. Now, this is a simple one. And I know as women, we get so caught up in having to have these fancy, overcomplicated plans and programs and all these things to follow when we really just need to keep things simple. So, number two is you must plan your meals. I cannot stress this enough that pre planning your meals will literally change your life. As women, we spend so much time relying on motivation to get us through and motivation to try and eat healthy consistently when what you actually just need to do is be organized, one step ahead, and pre plan things. Are you ready to step into a vibrant community of health conscious women where your journey to healthy feel easy begins? Welcome to the Healthy Eating Hype Gal community, your ultimate destination for mastering your relationship with food and embracing a healthy lifestyle. As a busy working mum who's lost 10 kilos, I've been through it all and I understand the struggle. That's why I'm here to teach you the exact steps and tools I use to lose weight, conquer my mindset, and thrive, all while juggling the demands of everyday life. Say goodbye to no more confusing fad diets or overwhelming nutrition advice. In this community, I'll guide you through the maze of weight loss and healthy eating and explain it to you in a way that finally makes sense. From easy, family-friendly meal plans to my exclusive calorie deficit quick guide, monthly masterclasses, plus so much more, so you can finally make healthy eating an achievable lifestyle without restriction. It's time to ditch the confusion and overwhelm for good. Join today and kickstart your journey to a healthier, happier you. There's no perfect time to start. Let's make your wellness dreams a reality. Some tips for meal planning. What you need to do is really think about what works for you. And I think that's where we get stuck a lot of the time as women is we think meal planning has to be this super fancy and overcomplicated thing, and it really doesn't. And meal planning can look and feel whatever works for you. There is no hard and fast rules as to how you should meal plan. It's about playing around, trialing different things, and finding a system that works best for you, your lifestyle, and also your family. It has to fit in, it has to work for you. So it's no good looking at what someone else is doing and how they meal planning and go, well, I'm going to do that because that may not work for you and your schedule. So, some of the things that you can do when you are meal planning to give you some ideas, you can plan your full week of meals. What I personally like to do is plan out Monday to Friday, particularly our dinners, because I know that if I don't plan them, I just, like I said, I get decision fatigue too. I run out of time, and that's when it's usually Uber Eats or takeaway. So, making sure I'm planning my dinners, especially Monday to Friday. On the weekends, I don't worry so much because obviously you've got the time, you might eat out, you've got a bit more flexibility. But Monday to Friday, always planning out my dinners. Now, if I've planned something for dinner, I always check the day before. Did you hear me say that? The day before, not when I'm coming home after work. I always check the day before that I have the ingredients that I need to make that recipe for dinner. This is really, really important because, like I said before, we are all about doing whatever we can to reduce your decision fatigue. Now, if you come home at the end of the day and you're super tired, the last thing you want to do is have to go to the shops, buy the ingredients, come home, decide on the recipe, cook the recipe, clean up after the recipe. So, the more things that you can do to reduce your efforts, your stress, and to reduce that decision fatigue, the easier it is going to be for you to eat healthy consistently. Like I said, plan out your meals Monday to Friday. Make sure that you know the night before that you have those ingredients. This will save you. Like I have been in the past where every day I would come home after work and be having to go to the shops to buy ingredients for a recipe. That is no fun. And honestly, what a waste of your precious time. Wouldn't you rather be at home, spending time with your family or your friends, or reading a book, or doing a little bit of self care? Like there are so many other ways that you could be better spending your time than having to go to the shops every day after work to get a healthy dinner on the table. The other thing, sorry, that you can do is also prep some of the meal. So it doesn't mean a full prep. It might be, for example, if you are planning to have a chicken stir fry for dinner, it may be that in the morning you spend 10 minutes before you go to work and you chop up those vegetables, throw them in a container of water, and you chuck them in the fridge. So that's one less thing that you have to do when you get home. So when you get home, you not only know, because you've planned your meals, that you are going to have a stir fry for dinner, you've prepped some of your vegetables that are in the fridge. So when you come home, all you need to do is take out what you need, cook it, and your meal is prepared. So often it's not the actual physical cooking of the meal, it's the decisions and the thought processes that have to go into getting that meal on the table. And that's what women struggle with. So that's what we're focusing on with reducing that decision fatigue. Some other little tips that you can do. I know we have quite a few of our healthy eating hype gal members. If you don't know, or if you're new here, that is my membership. And what they will do is they print off their dinner recipe from the monthly meal plans and they put it on their fridge and they change it over every day. So not only does that person, like she knows what she's having for dinner, her family knows what's for dinner. We've had another member too that will also put it on the fridge. And then the days that she has to work late, her husband just comes home and he picks the recipe off the fridge. So he knows exactly what he needs to make. These are all things, again, that are going to reduce your decision fatigue. Like I said, all about working smarter and not harder. Like we're just trying to make life less stressful and a lot easier for ourselves. Okay, so we've number one, we've looked at our week, our calendar. So we've kind of worked out what our busy days are, what days we have the most on, what days maybe we need to be more prepared on, what days we need to maybe be a bit more relaxed with. Then number two, we have sat down and planned our meals. Now, like I said, that has to be a system that works for you and your family. Don't copy someone else's meal. Find your own, sorry, don't copy someone else's system of meal planning. Find your own. If Monday to Friday and planning only your dinners works for you, great. If Monday to Friday planning your breakfast and your dinners only works for you, do that. If you want to plan all of your meals Monday to Friday or Monday to Sunday and that works for you, you do that. But don't be afraid to try a system of meal planning and organization to reduce that decision fatigue. And if you try it for a week or two, go, yeah, no, this isn't working for me, try something else. Don't quit and go, well, this isn't working for me. Like anything, you have to repeat the process weekly because what happens if you continually show up and you continually plan your meals each week, it will reduce your decision fatigue. And each week you will find it easier to do. And it will just become like something that's sort of second nature and just a part of your normal routine. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. Don't leave things to chance. It's pretty simple. Don't leave things to chance. If the more stuff and the more things around healthy eating and healthy meals that you leave to chance, the more you increase your chances of failure. So, if you don't plan a meal, if you don't know what you're eating for dinner, if you haven't checked the fridge and pantry to check that you've got ingredients, if you haven't prepped some of the meal, what are the chances of you getting a healthy dinner on the table of an evening? They're pretty low, right? Because in comes tired woman, decision fatigue hits, and I am not cooking and I just don't have the brain power to think about what is going to go into this healthy meal. So don't leave things to chance and just try and be always one little step ahead of yourself, and it will just make your life so much easier. The other one I wanted to mention, to help you eat healthy more consistently is to work on building up a bank of family favorite meals. Now, it's really important that you try and make certain recipes and those favorites and those family favorites that you like and make them regularly, because what that does is it creates a bank that you can call on anytime you need. Now, when you make them regularly, you just get to learn how to make them, and you can make them quickly, you can make them easily, and it doesn't really require a lot of brain power or thought on your part. And quite often over time, you just don't even need the recipe anymore and you can just throw it together. That will save you time. Now, there are a couple of ways that you can do this. You might have a recipe folder. So you might like to have things printed out and actually have the recipe that you're going to make or the meal idea printed out on a piece of paper in front of you. Keep them in a folder. Keep the folder on your kitchen bench so it's there and you can easily access it whenever you need. You may prefer like more digital. So you may use like your notes app and you've got a folder in there with all of your favorite recipes that you can call on anytime. It's really, really important to have a bank of family favorite recipes that you can access anytime, because this will also reduce your decision fatigue as a female, and it will make getting that healthy dinner on the table a whole lot easier. I hope that these tips today have really given you some things to think about because, like I said, I know as women, we always just assume that there must be something wrong with us or that we are failures because we can't eat healthy consistently all the time. And it's not you. It's not that you can't do it. It's the systems that you need to set up and the organization that you need to do and that pre planning that will set you up for success. Like I said, society has changed and women are working, they are running jobs and careers and being leaders in businesses and running families. And it's a lot to juggle. Like, as women, we don't talk about that enough. It is a lot. We have a lot on our plates on a daily basis. So it is very difficult to get that healthy meal on the table at the end of the day. But like I said, it's not that it's not the physical cooking that takes the time, it's the planning and the organizing that actually goes into that meal that takes up the most time and puts so much stress on our brains. So it's all about being one step ahead of yourself. So let me know if you are going to try this and you can tag me over on my Instagram at the Active Bod. Let me know which one of these things you're going to try. Are you trying to prep some of your dinner? Are you planning out your meals Monday to Friday? Are you looking at your schedule and working things out? And that's nothing too. You can adjust your schedule, to suit yourself. If on certain days you have more time to spend more time cooking the meal, then put those recipes on that day. If you know that on other days you're super busy, make those meals super quick and pre-prepared or even something that you've meal prepped. Like it's just about working smarter and not harder. So, like I said, tag me over on my Instagram at the Active Board and let me know what you're trying and how you're going with it. Don't forget to that you can also download my free healthy eating and weight loss essentials kit. I will put the link down below so you can download that straight away. It's got lots of meal ideas. It's got a no prep meal plan. There's lots of different things to get you started and to get you motivated again to eat healthy consistently. I hope you found this episode super helpful as a busy woman and that you're feeling really confident going into the rest of the week to be able to eat healthy with confidence and to also reduce your stress and also reduce your decision fatigue as a woman. Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the Healthy Her podcast. If you enjoyed today's chat and found it helpful, hitting that follow or subscribe button would be amazing because your support means the world to me. Come connect with me on Instagram at The Active Bod for your daily dose of inspiration and for loads of new easy meal ideas. Take care and keep thriving. See you next week.